Hello, thriving friends. Happy new week. Happy new week. It is Friday, and we are here for our thriving lessons for the week. I am excited to have you here. Today, we are going to have a brief conversation about budgeting and savings. So, wherever you are, welcome. Join us in the room. Let's take a moment, as usual, to share the link with our friends, our loved ones, as I also make sure that it's streaming live on all the other platforms. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are. Thank you, thriving friends. We are indeed thriving together. Let me get the link from here. Do I have the link? Hey, no. Welcome in the room. Welcome in the room. My name is Dr. Grace Kakari. I go by Dr. G, and I am excited to welcome you today. I think I have my link, hopefully, the right link. I'm going to go ahead and share with my folks, and then hope that you are doing the same. And we are getting started in the next few minutes. Beautiful. Welcome once again. Can you believe that it is the end of the month already? The month of April is done. No, the month of April is done. May is right around the corner. I am super excited by the new week, new month. That is why we need to talk about this important topic, budgeting and savings. There we go. I think we have everything working from my end. Hopefully you can hear me all right. When you get here, let me know if you can hear me. So say hi. If you enjoy what we do, please don't just be watching. Be part of the family. Share the link. Let other people know that we are online. Let other people know that we are thriving and they should join us to thrive too. I see Isaac is online. Isaac, hi. Can you hear me all right? Where are you watching from? And if you can hear me, that would be great. All right. So this week we are going to talk about budgeting and savings. For the past, if you haven't been with us before, again, hi. My name is Dr. Grace Kakari. I go by Dr. G. For the past 4 weeks, we've been talking about financial literacy 101, experimenting or exploring different topics related to our finances. It's not just about money, but we are learning how to create wealth, right? So if you haven't been with us, but you are joining us from any of our platform, we welcome you here. You are at the right place. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. And we are streaming live on multiple platforms. We are on multiple pages on Facebook. We are on Four Star Radio and TV. We are on YouTube, Thriving Generation with Dr. G. We are on LinkedIn, Grace Kakari. That's my personal LinkedIn page. We are on Twitter. That will also be my name, Dr. Grace Kakari. And then we are also on, what is that one? Twitter. Okay. Oh, Isaac said watching live from LinkedIn. That means Isaac can hear me. All right. So, Facebook folks, my friends, thriving friends, when you get here, let us know so that we can welcome you appropriately. So this is the which one is this one? Let's see. This is my LinkedIn page. If you're on LinkedIn, I would love to connect with you. If you're on Facebook, please connect with Thrive with Doc G. That is where we share most of our resources. I don't want you to miss anything, and I want you to grow with me. And then this will be the Facebook. Kindly subscribe if you make your way to Facebook. Let us thrive together and share with other people too. Let other people join us and thrive with us. And then wherever you are given multiple options either to support, subscribe, share, like, follow, whichever option you are given. Please go ahead and support us appropriately. So, disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial guru in any form, any shape. I am just a thriving friend who is interested in thriving in all areas of our lives. I call myself a success and wellness advocate. So, as I'm advocating for success and wellness, I try to share tips and resources that will help you thrive as well. So, as we've been talking about financial wellness in the past few weeks, and we have gotten to almost the end. Next week, we wrap up our financial wellness or financial literacy series. I wanted us to talk a little bit about savings and budgeting because we are almost at the end of the month and some of us are going to get money very, very, very soon. So, as we are getting money, we have to know how to spend our money, where to spend our money, where to invest our money, and all those sweet little things that we don't usually talk about. So we've had with us some wonderful guest speakers and they've shared different resources with us. And the basic concept has been building wealth. And then we've learned that building wealth takes time. Okay, it's not like a one day wonder. People are lucky they have a one day big deal, like a deal like I mean like a contract or something like that, and then it brings them millions of dollars or millions of cedis or millions of whatever currency you spend at one time. So though they didn't build it from the scratch, now they have it. They have the money and they can spend it on whatever they want and they are rich all at once, right? But most of the people we know have to build the wealth. They have to start from somewhere and keep working on it and keep working on it and keep working on it. Since you and I don't know when we'll have our big breakthrough, since we don't know when our miracle will happen, when our millions of dollars will drop, we have to start creating wealth with whatever resources we have today. Okay. So, what are we learning to do? We are learning to put money aside from time to time. And I have another thriving friend joining us. This is a thriving friend and family. Hi, Jillian. Jillian is my sister in law. Thank you for joining. See, my family support. So you also be my family support. Jillian, thanks for joining. Okay. So let's experiment some options when it comes to budgeting and savings. I'm not bringing to you maybe something that is extremely new. You've probably heard of it before. You've probably experimented some of them before. And since we are thriving friends and we are thriving together, as I share, please feel free to also share your tips, tools, the things that have been working for you. Please put them in the comment and I will share with the thriving friends. We are trying to make today's session very brief, so kindly participate as soon as you can. So Jillian is online, Isaac is online. I have two other people on Facebook that I can't see. Kindly introduce yourself, say hi so that we know who you are and where you are joining us from. But can you share with us some of the tools you've been using, if you use any? Have you been using any tools so far when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to savings? What has been helping you? So, if you're wondering what is budgeting, budgeting has to do with planning how you dispense or spend your money. Okay. So at the end of every month, some of us we are paid every 2 weeks, some of us are paid weekly, some of us are paid on the job. So hourly, whenever you finish the job, you receive your money and you go. But do you plan how to spend that money? Do you have like a list somewhere? Do you have like a trick somewhere? Do you have a fancy app somewhere that tells you, okay, this much will go into your rent, this much will go into this, and that much will go into that? If you have something like that, please share with us. And what about savings? When I talk about savings, there could be different forms of savings, like you can save different resources. But for the purposes of this talk, savings, we are talking about money. So money kept aside for future use. So what do you do? Do you even budget in the first place? I want to hear all your answers. I'm looking at the comments from my side. I will switch to Facebook in a moment to see if there are comments from Facebook. But do you budget? And what have you been using so far? If you don't budget, that's okay. We are going to talk about some of the tools out there. But what do you use? What do you use? Are you using any technique, any tool? Are you going the old fashioned way, pen and paper? What are the options you've been going for? So, the first thing I wanted to talk about was some common tools out there. And then, as I wait for Thriving Friends to bring in their comments, we need to budget. I think that is really clear. I know that some people have resistance when it comes to budgeting because you feel like it's your money, you don't want to be restricted. Why should you be restricted? I don't think budgeting is restricting you. Budgeting is helping you plan appropriately. If you don't have a schedule or a plan to guide your spending, you may end up spending money you don't have, especially those of us in countries where we have access to credit card. At the end of the month, you realize that you've spent more than you actually earned in the month. And that is not the place you want to be when you are thinking about building wealth. How do you build wealth if you don't have resources to put aside? So that is why it's important to budget. So there are different forms or ways to budget. The first one will be the traditional form, right? The pen and paper. Take a pen and a paper, write all your expenses and all your bills, your income, your resources. So you have a section for how much you are bringing in, and you have a section for how much will be going out. And people have different options when it comes to rules. I think the common one will be the 50-30-20 rule. The 50-30-20 rule says spend 50% of your earnings on important things, like very, very, very important things, the needs. And then 30% on, no, 50% on expenses, like your rent, your bills, the things you can't avoid, right? And then 30% on other things, and then 20% towards savings. But if you haven't been budgeting before, if you haven't been saving before, it's hard to put 20% aside. It sounds big in your head. Let's say you are earning 1,000 of whatever currency, right? If you want to put 20% aside, it means that you are putting 20% of the 1,000 aside, and you end up with what, 800 to use. Okay, depending on whether you own the place you are staying or you are staying there for free, whether you have to pay rent, whether you have to pay light bill, whether you have to pay water bill, whether you have to pay heat. If you live abroad, you are probably paying for heat or you are paying for AC, whichever it is. I think people use gas or heat, whichever it is, you are paying something. Maybe you've subscribed to Netflix, so that will be a monthly payment. Maybe you live very far from your home, so you have to commute, you have to take the bus, or maybe you have to drive, so you buy gas. Some of these things you have to pay. Okay, you are enjoying them, and then at the end of the month, you pay for them. So you assign 50% of your resources to that. And then the 30% will be other things that you will need, but you don't necessarily want, right? And then 30% towards savings. I will highly recommend that you at least start with 10%. Okay, we are all different, we all have different responsibilities. If you have more and you can put 20% aside, that would be wonderful, because the more you put aside, the more you have in the future to use for whatever you want, right? They also have the 50-15-5 rule. All that one is to at least put 5% into retirement. But if you are saving 20%, then maybe part of the 20% could go into retirement or future, and when you are not working anymore. If you are not saving 20% and you are saving only 10%, and you feel like the 10% is not even enough if you have an emergency in the future, then maybe you should consider saving an extra 5% towards retirement. So this 5% is not going to go into any short-term expenses like your car breakdown. You are going for that money. This 5% you are forgetting about it, like put it down and never go back to it, kind of 5%. You are thinking about in your 60s, 70s, when you can no longer work, this money is there for you. Okay, but I want to also share, how can you get there? Where do you even start from to get yourself to the point where you are able to put this money aside? That is where the budgeting tools help. So the traditional one will be the pen and paper I mentioned. That is where you sit down at the end of every month, you write down how much of money you have coming in. Maybe you have contracts here and there that you are not aware of, but if you have consistent income like a monthly job or a weekly job, you know how much you earn, you write that down, and then you know how much you have to spend, like the important expenses that you have to make, you write that down, and then you know how much will be left for you to play around with, right? You know how much will be left to play around it. But as we've learned from, oh, let me say hello to my sister. Hi Sewa, thank you so much for joining. God bless you too for the work you are doing. So, as we've learned from Think and Grow Rich and other rich people, we've learned from successful people, they've talked about paying yourself first. And I've talked about this before. I have the videos on YouTube. Pay yourself first. And what that means is that the money going into savings just go. It doesn't even get to you for you to decide, okay, this month, where am I going to put my 10%? You don't get that luxury of making that decision. So for me, what I personally do is I have auto pay. So as soon as I'm paid, every time my pay comes in, that percentage just leaves. The bank will just take out that percent. So I don't get to even play around with it. So that is not even part of my budget. And the truth is that Maybe you think you are earning 1,000, 1,000 is not enough. But seriously, if you were earning 900, you will find a way of using the 900 and you will make it work. If we're earning 800, you find a way of making the 800 work. So even before you pay your debts, your loans, your needs, your wants, all the fun things that the many, many rules give us, pay yourself first. Put away 10%. Don't touch that money. Let that money go. Can you imagine after 10 months how much that will look like? After 1 year, how much that will look like? After 2 years, how much that will look like? After 5 years, how much that will look like? That is for a long term purpose. You are not touching it, it's for an emergency. If you currently don't have any emergency funds, then you probably have to think beyond 10%. And depending on your income too. So we have to be realistic here. Depending on your income, you cannot do more than 10%, but we have to start from somewhere anyway. And Sewa says, what if your needs cost more than you can earn? And that is when you have to think about multiple sources of income, because money is not going to come from the skies. And you can't always depend on people. If you are spending more than you have or your needs, you have children, you have to pay their fees. The fees, you can't do much about it. You can't always go negotiating with the schools that, hey, I don't have much. Can you reduce it for me? Maybe you can get scholarship here and there. But I think for any responsible parents with children, we cannot always be in need. We can't always have our children struggling. We have to find ways and means to make it happen, to make it work. They were in heaven enjoying their lives, and we decided that, oh, you are so cute, we want you on earth, and we've brought them here. So that is where you start looking into multiple sources of income. And then we have multiple sources of income videos on YouTube. I did create one too, I think last year, somewhere last year, or early this year when we're planning the year, we did talk about multiple sources of income. So, what skill do you have? If you are a teacher, can you start doing extra classes, or can you start creating content online? Can you do something else that can bring in money? If you have children, I'm using if you have children because I have children myself. If you have children, maybe can you do babysitting at your free time by maybe allowing very close family and friends to also bring their children, and then they pay some money. So if they have date nights, parents wants to go out and have some fun, but they don't want to go with their children, maybe they can bring them to you. They know that you're a trusted person and you are taking maybe $10, 10 CDs, 10 naira, 10 euros per 30 minutes or per hour for whatever it is. I think the last babysitter we use, they have a range that they charge. So if you want to go out, have fun, no problem, but they will charge you for it, right? So that is where the multiple sources of income will come in. Beautiful question. Thank you so much. So if you are now joining us, hi thriving friends, we are talking about budgeting and savings. The month is ending. We want to look at ways for which we can start building our wealth. Wealth will come to us, but we have to start putting in the effort. I talked about paper and pen, just writing them down and knowing what you have to spend, what you don't have to spend. And then moving on, envelopes. It's also a traditional form. I've used that before, but now I don't use envelopes anymore because I don't have access to cash as much. I live in a new city and I don't have a personal bank in the city I live in. So I don't have cash. I hardly ever have cash. Okay. But if you are closer to your bank, and or you are in a country where you exchange cash a lot, you can use the envelope method. So the envelope method, you have multiple envelopes, you write behind the envelopes. This is for giving, this is for saving, this is for transport, this is for food, this is for children daycare. So you may have maybe up to 10 envelopes, and then whenever you have to spend, you go to that specific envelope and take money out of that envelope. That is also good for beginners. At least you have an idea of where your money is and how you are spending your money. Please keep the questions coming. And then you move on a little bit further. You want to be a little bit fancy, not too fancy, but a little bit fancy. You can use spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are free. I think Excel, you have a free version that you can use so that you can have that electronically. You can look at it from time to time, update it from time to time. So as your income increases, you update how much you are earning. As your income reduces into something else, maybe you start some investment, you update that as well. Then you move on to banking tools. Most banks offer free tools for budgeting and savings. You make use of that, or you can use what I use. Like I said, I have automated payments. So um, as soon as the money gets into the account, the bank will take their portion out. And then if you are owing like students loan, like other kinds of loan, and mortgage, yes, so those of us abroad, mortgage you have to pay at the end of the month. We don't wait for the month to end and then we write a check or we take cash and go to the bank and say take your money. We've made that also auto pay. So as soon as the money lands in your account, the mortgage company will take their portion, and whatever is left is yours. Okay, whatever is left with yours. So if you don't have that again, you make it work. You make it work. Whatever it is, you will make it work. You have to make it work. All right. And then I listed some apps that I wanted to share with you. I haven't used any of these before. So if you have experiences with any of the apps, please put that in the comments. Let's all of us learn. There is one called Mint. I saw very good reviews on Mint. Again, I haven't used that before. I've put that in the comment. I didn't put that in my slide, so I have that in the comment. Mint, Mint. You can check that out. I've seen people give good comment about that. I haven't used it before. Again, another option is Honeydew. Honeydew is also just like Mint. It's just popular. People use it. There are so many out there. And I think the last one I wrote was Good Budget. Good Budget is also a free app that you can download. I don't know whether from time to time they will start asking you to pay for it because somebody created it, right? It's for someone, so they decide what they want to do. But at least we can start with the spreadsheet. We can also start with the envelopes, or we can just start with the pen and paper, just write it down. You know how much you are getting. Don't spend more than you have. It's easy to say it, but if you don't know how much you own, and how much you are owing, you will end up spending without really planning on spending. So I'm going to start looking at the comments right now, Thriving Friends. What have you been doing? And what are the tips you can share with us? Again, this is not from an expert, or this is from your thriving friend. This is from your own thriving friend. What I have been doing. We've had multiple sessions on investment. So if you are thinking of investment ideas, we have videos on that. We've had multiple sessions on, different financial wellness related sessions, right? So please don't hesitate to check out our videos. But today I just wanted to encourage you to start thinking about budgeting. If you don't budget, you may end up overspending, or you may be underspending. You have money sitting somewhere that you can save, and you may not even be aware that you have that money sitting somewhere to save. Okay. And I really want us to do well. I really want us to thrive and thrive holistically. My recommendation again will be at least 10%. Put aside 10%. And if there is any way you can make that automatic payment, let that go. As soon as that hits your account, let the bank take that money out. Let that investment firm take that money out and put it aside. Then you work with what you have. Most of us Christians do pay tithes and we don't even think twice about it. Not every church will be doing the 10%, but I think most churches will do 10% of your earnings, like tithe, tenth of your earnings. And we don't even think much about that. As soon as we get the money, we take the tenth, we take it to the church for charity. I know that people who are not really into church will still do charity, right? They'll give money to charity, and some of them also budget 10%, 5 to 10%. Others do 15%, others do 20%. I don't think there is any limit to how much you can give if you have money to give. But can you imagine giving 30% or so much, and then at the end of the month, you are still owing because you didn't know that your money wasn't sufficient. And now you are going to beg people for money. So now you are in the position where people have to be kind to you. I think we have to be in a position where we have control over our money. Budgeting helps save money. So, what have you been using? Sewa has a comment. Let's see. Auto deductions of savings and bills from the bank is great option for discipline and consistency. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Yeah. I think I we are humans and we may think that, oh, I got it, but you may forget, and depending on what kind of deduction it is, if it's savings, that's fine. But if it's something like mortgage or bills, they are going to charge you interest if you don't pay on time. So to avoid all that, just put everything on auto deduction, really. Put every loan on auto deduction, every credit card bill on auto deduction. Make sure that it's gone. And then if you don't have much left, you know that you need another source of income. So maybe you have to start teaching online. Maybe you have to start selling something if that is your passion, or you have to start fixing something. I have a friend whose husband is so into gadgets, and as a hobby, this is a hobby. He fixes iPhones as a hobby. I don't even understand iPhone in the first place for it to be a hobby for me to fix and earn extra income on that. I see that as a wonderful thing, and he loves it. He doesn't see it as a work, but he's paid for it. Every Saturday and Sunday afternoons, he goes to the phone shop, one of our big shops, and then he fixes their phones for them, the gadgets for them, and they pay for that. But he has his full time job somewhere else. That is his passion. That is an extra income for his family. I don't have that passion, but if I did, I would definitely use it. So that's a wonderful feedback. Thank you for that. And then Isaac says, how do we avoid impulse spending, purchases, or overspending on non essential items in order to save money? Isaac, it's not by magical. It's not by magic. You are going to spend if you don't know how much you have. Oh, my phone is, the alarm is on. Hopefully it will go off. If it doesn't go off, we'll manage through it. I don't want to get up and go and get the phone. It's at the side and it's making so much noise right now. So Isaac, what I would say is that the budget may help you. The budget may help you. So if you know that you are into potentially spending unplanned, like you call it impulse buying, then maybe Sewai's suggestion of auto deduction will be perfect. Let the bank take the savings out, let the bank take the other things out like rent and all that. Maybe rent, you have to write a check to your landlord. That's fine. Do all those and then you will know what is left. But I will highly recommend that at least your savings go out first. If your savings goes out and you don't have much to spend, you have very little for impulse buying, you know sometimes it's fun. I love to buy secondhand stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I can find something that costs maybe $200 new, and then I can find the alternative for 100 or $50 used, like a furniture or something that is not edible, right? And if it's well kept, nobody will even see whether it's old or new. I'll probably buy the second hand. Then I have that extra cash to do something else. So then, if you see me spending some dollars on myself, you may think, wow, this lady has money to spend. No, maybe she saved on buying a used something and then she has the extra cash for something else. I'm not giving specific examples because I don't know what you are interested in. But I haven't done my nails in a long time because it cost an average of, the last time I went was 60 to $70 or so. When you add tips, then it's even going higher. I want to save that money for something else. So if I'm not enjoying any nails, it's the parts that I am sacrificing. And I can enjoy the money on something else. So if you see me enjoying and you have your nails done, maybe that's the trade off, right? So, Isaac, I'll say that the savings should go first. If you see savings as important to you, if you really want to save, let that money go. Find a way of deducting it. If you don't have a reliable bank, you can use one of these investment companies. The only one I use and the only one I know is Betterment. It doesn't mean that that's the best one out there. That is what I know. And I only know it because my brother in law was using it. And when I was in the position where we wanted, in fact, my husband and I wanted to learn more about savings and investing, we asked him, and then he shared that. We asked another friend, and the other friend also shared that. So we went for it, and it's been good so far. There are so many unreliable sources, so I can't be sitting here mentioning names that I haven't used, but I am sure that there are several tools out there you can use to save money. Okay, any more questions? Today, hey, this phone won't stop vibrating. Oh, okay, keep vibrating. Let's see if there are other comments. And as you get here, I see several thriving friends on Facebook, several on LinkedIn. Please go ahead and like the video, share the video, let other friends learn with us, okay? That is also a good thing to do. Let's not keep it to ourselves. Alhima, thanks for joining. Alhima says, see savings as a way of paying yourself first. Definitely, definitely. You've worked hard, you've done your best for the month. Have something for yourself. And that could be 10%, that could be more than 10%. But have something for yourself. Hey, is the vibration disturbing anybody? Please let me know and I'll get up to put it off. If not, I'll just keep sitting here. If it's disturbing, Isaac, let me know if you can hear the vibration. If not, I'll just keep sitting. I think it's because it's 8 o'clock. My phone vibrates every hour to keep me on track. So that is one thing. Anyway, so we will see paying ourselves first as savings as paying ourselves first. All right. So any other feedback, any other comments? So let's wrap up for today. And thriving friends, I want to know what you are going to do differently or what you are going to keep doing when it comes to budgeting and saving. Okay, share that with us and then we'll get offline. And I'm turning my head because I'm trying to look at the other platforms to see if I haven't missed any comments. Let's see. All right, so I see that thriving friends are typing, but it's not coming through yet. So I would just keep on encouraging you. Okay, today was meant to be a brief discussion. Again, I'm not a financial expert. If you have so much money on hand, please talk to a financial expert about all the options out there. But as the month is ending, some of us will be paid today because the month ends on Sunday. Others will be paid maybe on Monday, depending on where you work. But please make sure you are putting money aside for your future. Next month, you will have more than you had this month. In 3 months, you have more than you started with. In 5 months, you have more than you started with. In 1 year, you will have money somewhere. Start small. Yes, we can sit down and be waiting for the miracle. The miracle will come. But how wonderful it will be if we learn how to use the resources we have now and build on it for the future. Okay. And Jillian has a comment. Jillian says, I'm going to get envelopes. Really, Jillian, that's what I used to do when I was in Ghana. I won't tell you where I was keeping my money. But if you go to my mother's house, we had this bed that had like an extra layer, like a cabinet, a hidden cabinet, or something like that. That was where I had all my envelopes. And I learned that from church, Word of Faith. Dr. I was going to say Auntie Petit. No, she goes, but Dr. Dorothy, Pastor Dorothy. She taught us. We were very young. I think we had just gone to college and we used to join a group called Glorious Daughter, the King's Glorious Daughters. And we're learning these little things. And that is what she taught us. Like, girls, get envelopes and put money aside. And that is where I started from. So back in college, so whenever I was home, I had the multiple envelopes. I had money in them. I put them under the bed. Right now, even if you go and check, the money is not there because I'm not there. But that was where I was keeping the money and then I'll be taking my transport out of it. If I see that my transport is finishing, it means that I have to start working. So we lived a little further from the road. So when you get there, you can take a taxi and it will make it shorter. It will take you home, or you can walk. It was like reasonable, though if I was reasonable. So if you know your money is finishing, you start working. You stop buying food from outside if you know that you don't have money for food anymore, right? You spend on what you have. All right, thriving friends. I think we are going to leave it here. My phone is refusing to stop vibrating. So we are going to end it here. I think the message is clear. The end of the month is here. I encourage you to put money aside. I encourage you to pay yourself first. Please, let's not meet again next month and the story is the same. Make sure you are putting money somewhere. If by any means the money is not enough, and sincerely it can be so, sometimes we have so much responsibilities that the money is not enough. Please, please go ahead and think about multiple sources of income. Find creative ways of making money. Ah, Sewa says, it's so true. I remember your envelope. Sewa is my sister, yeah, my big sister. I used to do that. I didn't think much of it, but I guess it created a good foundation for me. Now I don't do envelopes anymore. I'm going high tech. Everything is electronic. But Julian, I would definitely encourage you, and I'll check in with you next month to see how the envelopes are going. So, yeah, thriving friends, I'll leave you here. Please have a wonderful, wonderful day. Go ahead and keep thriving. Do something about your finances. Find extra sources if you need it. Okay, if you don't need it, that is wonderful. Keep on saving, keep on putting money aside. Let's start small. Even if you can do 10%, but you can do 5%, please go ahead and do 5%. Whatever you can do, and I'm using percentage because it's easier than to give an amount. If I say $10 and you are not paid in dollars, how, what sense would that make? So use percentage, put money aside, save money, and make sure that you are preparing for your future. Make sure that you are not knocking on people's doors when an emergency comes up because you didn't plan for your future. Let's be wise like the ant preparing for the winter season. They know that winter will come. So in the summer, when they have the strength, when they have sunshine, they work hard. They keep gathering food. They keep gathering food. And during the winter months, they are ready to stay indoors, stay warm because it's cold outside, but they have something to depend on. Right. Let us be wise because we've been created to be wise. The Lord did a great job on us. He invested so much in us. We have to make our Papa proud that the resources he gave us, we know how to use it. That the wisdom he's given us, we know how to use it. Okay. And we have to make our families proud. If we have responsibilities to our families, we have to take that seriously, work hard. We cannot be repeating every month, I don't have money, I don't have money. In fact, Sarah, this is between you and I. Okay. Our mother, every day, I don't have money. I say, you don't have money, but you work, you don't have money. Her story was different. She was just not willing to give us the money. She was saving the money towards her business. She had a business. She was a nurse at that time. Now she's upgraded into something else. But she was a nurse and then she had a business alongside. So she won't give us the money to spend on things that are not necessary. She would rather invest in her business. So every day, Auntie Philly, I don't have money. Every day I don't have money. But anyway, as we grew, we got to understand. But not because she didn't really have resources. But we ate. We were well fed. We were well clothed, and I think that should be your goal, to make sure that your family is well taken care of. If you are the head of the household, you are the man, do something about that. Let your children see you do it. In the future, they will also sit behind the computer and say that even though you said you didn't have money, you were actually investing into their future, maybe into their education, maybe into their college funds or something like that. But we don't want to grow and there is nothing, 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 just debt. And I will leave you with this final saying: please never ever let somebody pay your debt. At least if you won't leave anything for your children, don't leave debt for them. Don't spend money and your children will have to come and pay for it. Never ever do that. If you're not leaving any property for your children, if you're not leaving any savings for your children, or your wife, or your husband, or your parents, or your grandparents, whoever you live with, at least die clean, go clean, zero, nothing. But don't leave debt for anybody to come and pay for you. That will be my final saying. Take good care of yourselves. I will encourage you to thrive and keep on thriving holistically. So why is laughing? She knows what I'm saying. Auntie Felicia, we know you. Keep on thriving and keep on thriving holistically. I love you. I appreciate you, all those who were able to join. I appreciate you so much. And I say that God bless you. May God help us. Sometimes we can try all we want, but the grace of God is also wonderful. Let's all keep trusting that the Lord will give us the strength to do what we have to do. So Ohima remembers the envelope. Those envelopes really helped us going back to them. Yes, I used to go to the King's Glorious with Ohima. We got really some good values from those meetings. We were young girls, but we learned some great stuff from there. So maybe we should encourage everybody out there. If you haven't been budgeting yet, could you start with the envelopes? Any envelopes or multiple bags, small bags, and put money aside. And next month, when we check in, we will be excited to say that yes, we were able to put money aside, or at least we didn't overspend. Okay, even if we couldn't save, we didn't overspend for the month. I wish you all the very best. I will see you next week and we'll talk about how to manage our debt. God bless you all. Bye.